Well, the role of social media in this murder has been widely discussed in France over the past few days. And even this morning, we had ministers taking to social media, but also speaking in French media, saying that social media platforms need to do more. This is Marlene Schiappa. She is the Minister for Citizenship, saying this morning that social media companies need to take their own responsibility. And this is very similar to a sentiment that was made by the spokesperson for the government. He's saying earlier on in the weekend that social media companies need to do more. It started on social media and ended very tragically on social media. We know that a father of a pupil had expressed his anger with regards to showing that image in the classroom. He said this in a Facebook video that was then shared in messaging platforms like Facebook Messenger, but also on WhatsApp and on Twitter. We know that the image of the beheading was shared first. It was then taken down, but all of this showing that this kind of content is still online, despite this being a very, very long and arduous conversation being had in France. Even going back to May, just a few months ago, we know that the French government had passed a draft law that would have changed and shaken up hate speech online. Now, if that law had been put into practice, what would have happened would be that platforms must take down terrorism content within 1 hour. If they failed to do that, they would have faced fines of up to 4% of their annual turnover. However, although that passed through the parliaments, it did not pass through the courts. It was quite debated because many people were saying that this could impinge on freedom of speech, especially if artificial intelligence would be involved in order to not have those very harsh fines be put into effect. One of the leaders who had been pushing forward that draft law has taken to social media, and she said, if we want to harm someone today, all we have to do is post something on social media and make it go viral. So representatives of some of the top social media platforms will be meeting with the representative of the government, a minister of the government, today to talk about what went wrong here. Now, I spoke earlier to a founder of an NGO. His name is Philippe Cohen. He is the founder of Respect Zone. And I asked him if he was sitting in the room, what would he want to be discussed and what should be the top topics for discussion here?
Isn't it time to come to a safer online design of your platforms? What we have been trying to scream over the last 6 years with Respect Zone is, why don't we get into the internet by design approach of the platforms? For instance, why there is no notice of use, especially for kids, on how to use this weapon, because this is a weapon vis-à-vis myself and a weapon vis-à-vis the other persons. And there is no notice of use, especially when any family would subscribe a new telephone line with an internet access to their kids. Why there is no, like, a driving license, which could be offered and which could be conditional to get an online account and to subscribe on the platform?
Here in theCUBE, we reached out to Facebook. They failed to respond within 24 hours. We messaged them yesterday. They did not respond. Twitter said that this kind of content violates their guidelines. It violates all of their guidelines. But many people now saying that although this content breaches the rules, it's the implementation of those rules that needs to be discussed.